Well, hey there. Welcome to the Paw Chronicles and More with Jim. Well, today what I'm doing is transplanting some of the persimmons that I have and working on them. I decided to put them in these taller pots to see how they would go. And when I went to take some of them out of the pots, I come to find something about the persimmons that I really didn't know because I haven't really been growing persimmons that long. And something that I want to show you that I do, and it's because there's so much root follicles involved with these trees. This is getting drenched, and I've worked on drenching all the others, and they're going to get drenched even more because we still have to work out some of the air pocket scenarios in them. And and as I do, I add a little bit more dirt because the dirt is sinking down through the pot. And there's a reason why I'm doing this, and I just wanted to share it with you. What happens whenever you're dealing with a lot of root mass and you try to plant the tree, you end up getting air pockets. And the way I've found to get rid of air pockets is drenching or watering very heavily. And then they won't be watered for several weeks because we don't want to give them too much water. Got to let them drain. I got some bubbling going on here, and while it's good and wet, what I'll do is I'll shimmy that pot, shake that pot, because as that water goes down through the soil, it's pulling dirt, and we want to try to get as much dirt to go around those follicles as much as possible. Now, like I said, I didn't realize until I started doing this just how aggressive the root system on a persimmons really is. And that explains to me as to why whenever you plant them out into the field that they grow so fast, because they have the ability to collect through them follicles to get the nutrients out of the ground. Very, very aggressive root matter. I've been working on these. This is going to take me a little while. I got 23 of them to transplant. And I'm going to show you real quick. You see me set this down here. This is a root maker pot. I've been using these pots for about a decade. And they've served their purpose for me very well. I've grown chestnuts in them, oaks in them, northern pecans, pawpaws. As you all know, I grow a lot of pawpaws. And this was the first time that I tried growing persimmons in them. But what I found when I went to take the trees out of some of the pots, it stayed clung up in there. And I had to reach up in there and wrap my hand around that root ball and force it out of there. And then I went ahead and loosened up the soil around that root ball and decided let's plant these as if I'm dealing with a semi bare root scenario. We still had dirt around the rooting system, but we also had a lot of exposed root. And down in the bottom where the root makes the connection with the soil, at the beginning I put mycorrhiza and a light fertilizer down in there to help stimulate them. Air pockets pretty much disappeared out of that one. This one right here, a little bit, but not too awful bad. I'm going to work on these other ones also while I'm at it. But let me show you something that I did. And in the pawpaw world, it's considered a big no-no. But you know what? It's a practice I've been doing for a long time. I'm talking about taproot. What I have here in my hand is the taproot of this one right here. And you see what it did. It got down in the pot and it tried to turn, and it caused a little stress to the rooting system. And I suspect that's the reason why we have all the follicles of root growing everywhere. And I tell you what, that really impressed me. I get that out of these pots with all the other trees also, but they do very well whenever I plant them in the field because of root fiber. I just never had one particular type of tree to grab on to the inside of that pot the way these did. And I tell you what, it was like, holy cow. But yeah, I clipped that off. And the reason why I clipped that off, the structure that you see right there, how round it is, that would stay with that tree for the rest of its natural life, and it would continue to grow. And then as it grows, it'll keep growing into each other, getting bigger and bigger, and then the root will actually graft into itself. And we don't want that. We want a different scenario. And by cutting that off, and right here is the very top that goes up towards the shank of the tree, it'll grow a new taproot. That's not the end of it. It'll grow a new taproot. It's just something that I wanted to show you. And throw that over to the side. Stick this into some bleach water so we can sterilize it. But this was just something that I wanted to share with you that I do. You know, I learned something about the persimmons that I didn't know until I started this little process here. And as I've always said, learn as I go, share as I learn. I hope this is helpful to you. I'm going to get some more dirt on these right here. Y'all have a good day. Oh, by the way, if you like what you see, subscribe. Don't forget to click on that bell for any notifications. Any comments or questions that you may have, I welcome.